Greetings, everyone. Core here, and I just have to say, uh, X-Men: Dark Phoenix wasn't that great. Of course, midnight review, gotta put it out. But yeah, so first off, I just want to say you don't have to go see it. It's You could wait until to rent it. It's not a must-see movie like say like Godzilla last week if you like Godzilla. Um, Avengers and stuff like that. It's definitely you could wait until it comes on, to your home to see it more easy. But yeah, this review is gonna have some spoilers. It's not gonna be uh non-spoiler free like I usually do, just because I don't like the things I want to talk about in this movie. I have to spoil some stuff. So first off, okay, so good things. Let me start off with actors. They all do a great job. I didn't feel like anyone, was phoning it in or anything like that. All the actors, at least as far as all the X-Men's and all the mutant stuff, the main characters did great, really. Even the, the extras and stuff, they all seem to do pretty well. There really wasn't anything I didn't not like about the acting. Music was pretty good, but it was a bit much. They definitely relied on it too much to get like certain emotions and make you feel certain ways during certain scenes. So I didn't like that because there was few there was a few scenes, not just a couple, few scenes that a nice quiet moment where you just hear the dialogue and you could get their emotion better. Because like I said, the actors did really great. Um, it just it just at least for me at least, it just felt like they were really just trying to manipulate me and feel in a certain way, but it just distracted me even more. So music could have been better. Overall, it was alright. Um, Story was the big problem. Uh, okay, so first of all, the original Dark Phoenix story is pretty weird, but you can say that about a lot of comic, stories before, you know, the 2000s. Even now, there's still some weird ones out there, but those early comic stories were weird. It's a product of its time, more or less, and the sci-fi was different back then. So you work what you have. But overall, like I was watching this movie, and there was parts where I'm just like, okay, they should have really said this. They should have really said something else. They like the editing just felt rushed and just like the flow just felt really bad of like pretty much throughout the whole movie. I mean, the action scenes were cool and stuff, but like everything that led up to those scenes, for every good scene, there was, three other scenes that were pretty bad. Pretty much for every minute of good stuff, you get about, 10 minutes of meh. But yeah, like there was just a lot of stuff when you're seeing this movie that you're like, that could have been better. It could have been a lot better. That shouldn't have been said that way. Those different things like the whole how they bring up the name of Phoenix. They're just it's after the space mission after she absorbs the Phoenix Force, which they never say it's the Phoenix Force. They say it's the Force, a Force, and Cosmic Force, but they never say a Phoenix Force. And it's not until the end that you actually get the actual Phoenix bird. They do have a good description of it later on when one of so it just reminded me. So big spoiler, uh, there's aliens in this movie, which yeah, I know there's been aliens before, and it it's a comic book movie, yes, but in this X-Men franchise, you have not introduced aliens. You have not even hinted towards aliens existing. It's been pretty grounded, and you've been focusing on just mutants. The mutants are pretty much the aliens, and all of a sudden, shapeshifting aliens, which shapeshifting aliens after Captain Marvel scrolls makes you think that they're Skrulls because you don't get a good look at them at the start. Granted, they don't have the big pointy ears, but they still look pretty generic in a lot of ways, and uh, it just honestly it did not help the movie at all because they try to get the Phoenix Force. They try to manipulate Jean Grey to make her to put her on their side so they can help rebuild their homeworld that was destroyed, even though the Phoenix Force description that she gives them, talks about how it just destroys, but also it can give life because it was the force of life at the beginning of the universes and stuff. So it was a good explanation, but not quite completely right. So, you know, the Phoenix Force usually just annihilates everything and it resets everything back to zero and life begins again. It always is reborn and never destroys a planet that they show in this movie. So that was different. The way that the Phoenix Force works was also a little bit different. Not too much, but I think it just they really rushed into it. There was no development before her. Like she pretty much gets the Phoenix Force and after the first like 5-10 minutes of the movie, she already is possessed, and that was pretty quick. um, Even the scene at the beginning where they show a family and stuff, it was a good scene, but it felt like it should have been cut a little bit sooner after the crash that you see in the trailers. And man, it's just like I kind of want to just like it's weird because this movie is like about just barely over 2 hours, and it feels like they were afraid to make it less than 2 hours, so they kept a lot of stuff that easily could have been cut, and yet it still messed up the pacing so bad. Like the writer for this movie, it felt like it was his first time reading, a Dark Phoenix story. I mean, because it did not feel like a comic book movie story. It did not. It felt like just a generic Hollywood movie. It just didn't. Like I said, the action was cool and stuff, but it just didn't feel like an X-Men movie. The alienation that they get later on when they have the incidents of the mutants fighting and stuff, and with the humans and stuff too. After Jean realizes what happens, from her childhood, it just escalates way too fast. It's like literally one bad thing happens, all of a sudden, these mutants that were being treated as, heroes get turned on like so fast. And that was stupid. That was really, really stupid how fast they turn on them. Uh, and it's just bad, man. Like, I kind of want to like re-edit this whole movie just to make it flow better because that's what exactly it needs is just a better editing, just better writing overall. I mean, it just like I said, there's scenes where you're watching it and you're thinking of better stuff that could have easily been said or done. Because I know I mentioned it before. Uh, so how the Phoenix, Jean Grey was starting to get called the Phoenix because it's in the trailers. It's the kids, in the school start calling her Phoenix because she rose from the dead, even though by the time she absorbs the Phoenix Force and they get her in space and they bring her back onto the Blackbird, well, the X-wing Blackbird, same thing, right? uh, she's not like knocked out or anything like that where she has to be revived, over time or even 10 minutes. She pretty much wakes up, 30 seconds and she's fine. Well, quote unquote fine. And it just didn't like there's no it's almost like their actions had no consequences, but yet they say that they did. but they really didn't. Even the big scene that we kind of all saw coming from the trailers, because the trailers were just badly cut, but that I guess was a sign that the movie was going to be not that great. Um, Even those were, you know, yeah, it could have been played out better. Like I said, the acting and the emotions, for what the actors had to work with, I mean, they did a hell of a job, but it's just the writing and the story was the biggest weak point in this movie. And I know a lot of people have been criticizing it, saying it's like The Last Stand, X-Men Last Stand, but it's not. I mean, X-Men Last Stand actually had decent writing to it. Of course, the action, you know, scene at the end, some of the scenes, I mean, it was pretty decent. It wasn't as bad as people, say it is, just like how, Star Wars Phantom Menace, yeah, we all saw it. And yeah, it is bad, but it's not as bad as everybody says it is. But this movie, like I said, there's good stuff, but there's a lot of bad stuff. Um, just a lot of stuff that's just generic. Like they just want to push it out. Um, I don't know if because they saw, this Disney merger coming, or you know, they just had to throw it out there while iron was hot still. Just something, something happened here, and it suffered. So yeah, man, I just like after thinking about it and everything, just it's not that great a movie. I have I have the AMC A-list movie pass, and even for my price, I kind of was regretting watching it. uh, like if I had to pay full price for this movie, I probably would hate it even more. But considering the price point that I'm at, it was okay. Definitely won't see it again. Definitely won't recommend it unless you catch it at home, of course, later on. Then yeah, if you're curious, check it out. There are some good scenes, but overall, it's not worth it. It's probably gonna bomb at the box office after this weekend, and I might have to go see Avengers Endgame again just to kind of like wipe my slate clean for great comic book movies. So till next time, guys. I believe this coming week we have uh, is it MLB? MIB? No, why am I thinking MLB? Sorry, I should have checked this before. June is another busy month, and like I said, I didn't go see Aladdin. Yeah, so next week is Men in Black International, which looks pretty good. It's pretty much Thor and Valkyrie, uh, human forms, just like how it was Deadpool and Nick Fury for Hitman's Bodyguard. We have Thor and Valkyrie as the Men in Black, the men and women in black. uh, should be good. Looks pretty good. I mean, definitely should be better for sure than X-Men Dark Phoenix. So here's hoping. But until next time, guys. Later.